Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now when it comes to holsters, I have looked at a ton of different options, whether it's outside the waistband leather, inside the waistband leather, cross-draw leather holsters, inside the waistband kydex, outside the waistband kydex, even hybrid options that integrate both leather and kydex at the same time. Outside the waistband molded plastic, inside the waistband molded plastic, chest rigs, and even drop leg designs. But I had never contemplated the idea of a belly band. It never really dawned on me, nor had I really given it a true thought. But today, we're going to look at a product from the company Warbull. Now, Warbull is a company whose products we've looked at in the past. Most specifically, I got a couple of their rifle slings, and I absolutely love them. These rifle slings have been great. They've performed extremely well. I can say I like them to the point where I'm running them on a couple of my rifles. Absolutely fantastic. So today, really simple conceptually, we're going to take a look at a belly band. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Warbull who did provide this for review. And before we get started, I would like to know, is this practical? If you watch this video and if you have familiarity with belly band designs, do me a favor, leave a comment in the description box below. I'm curious about your impressions. I'm curious about your experience. And if you have ideas about what systems work or don't work, I would absolutely love to hear it. So leave a comment in the description box below. And so as we get into this, talking about the belly band, for me, this is going to be a real question about how effective is this to carry my firearms, and more specifically for the concealed carry and everyday carry needs. Here in my hands, this is my SIG P365, which if you've been watching my channel, you realize this has become my go-to carry firearm. And so it needs to be able to work with my system, and my system revolving around my holster and also my cover garments and how I'm going to CCW. Now, you can see here, again, this is made by a company called Warbull. This is made overseas. However, all of these products in the Warbull lineup to date that I have looked at have been designed by military veterans, U.S. service military veterans, which I do like. So you can see here, tactical gear solutions designed by veterans in the USA. And I can tell you for sure, this definitely, and I'm hoping the belly band is going to perform well, but the sling, the rifle sling, is very well thought through, very well designed, and has just some awesome features, which I believe come from definitely somebody with experience, because at least in my opinion and from my limited knowledge, it does seem as though the way it functions really does come from somebody with significant experience. And so a veteran, I would have to think, would have some pretty good firearms experience. But as we take a look at this, obviously, I mean, kind of over-branded with, you know, sort of patriotic look, in my opinion, for something that's made overseas. However, it is being branded for the interaction and, I would guess, collaboration with U.S. service veterans. So again, coming in a very simple little pouch here, but the main thing being the belly band. Warbull products do seem to come with these, I guess this is kind of like a keychain. I don't have too much use for this, but this is how both the slings that I've looked at did come with one of these, and then now the belly band. As we take a look at this, sort of a stretchy and neoprene design. Unfolding this here, you're going to see both the neoprene and then also Velcro. This seems to be perforated on the inside to help with breathability. And this particular design, it is fairly tall, but it has a whole bunch of different accessory pouches, some of which can be removed. Like for example here, this can be removed. So what we're gonna do, I'm actually going to strip this back to the bare essentials, test it out, and then we will add things back in. Now this overall length is around 42 inches long, but when you buy these, you do buy them to size. So I bought a medium. Medium is supposed to fit between a 33-inch and 38-inch waist, which I'm hoping this is going to be about right. If you follow their instructions, they say take your waist size, add 4 inches, and then buy one that falls in that range. So I'm typically call it a 33-inch waist, and then, adding 4 inches, that should be 37. So in other words, the medium being between 33 and 38 inches should fit me about perfectly. As we take a look at the front, this has both a slot for the firearm, but then also magazines, and then built on a small little stash, cache, or like ID pouch, which is actually pretty cool. I do like that about this. Now, as we take a look at the front here, you can see there are some features that are permanently built on here. First off, you do have your slot for the firearm. Then you have a couple of just slotted pockets here. This could be used for knife, folding, pocket knife, something like that, flashlight, different sort of items that might be able to slide in here. So a little bit multi-purpose here, which is nice. But for me, I'm really curious, can I get my firearm in here with the weapon light? Not too sure how that's going to go, but we're certainly going to test it. Now you'll notice this does have a little bit of trigger coverage on here, which is nice. There is a snap for over the top, which we'll test. But here, as this opens up, I'm getting a little nervous that I'm not going to be able to fit this in here with the weapon light, and my answer to that is absolutely no. So first thing is I would have to drop off the weapon light, and then that's going to basically sort of change things up. Now, could this be right hand or left hand carry? I'm suggesting yes, but if you look at it, it looks like it's kind of intended more or less for right hand dominant carry, the way the trigger guard is set up. But anyway, not a big deal. I'll drop the weapon light off and we'll proceed. Now, in all reality, that's probably not a huge deal for me. I pretty much run the weapon light because I have a weapon light bearing holster. That is my EDC holster. I don't necessarily need the light, but the fact is, at this point, stripping it off will actually lighten the load just a bit. Now, if I go in here, again, right hand carry, we can look at this. Is it going to slot this way? I say it slots this way, and actually slides in there pretty nice. You do end up with a snap that you can pull up over the top, and what I like here is this snaps on the back side, so you're not going to scuff or mar up your finish. So that's a good deal. I've been looking at holsters recently that actually have the snap on the inside. It's tough to get to, and more dangerous is I feel like it's really going to mar up my finish. But this design here, that's great. That seems like it's going to work very well. A fairly reasonable snap over the top. And the only other thing I would consider is, we'll see how this snap performs over time, but there are other snap designs that are a little more robust. But this seems like it's going to be suitable, give you enough retention, and be able to pop off fairly quick at the same time to be able to withdraw the firearm, which I think is key. But again, moving forward here, now at this point, that does seem to seat fairly well. You can see the muzzle protruding just a little bit through the bottom, but this is a nice depth. Again, keep in mind the fact that this is the SIG P365XL, which does have a barrel length of 3.7 inches. So just giving you a little bit of frame of reference. Now, what I think is fairly interesting here is now I will have the ability to carry this at just a little bit of like a different location. And I think it's going to aid in sort of deeper concealability for much of my needs. Now, I'm simply going to take this, wrap it around, get it firm enough that it's snug, nice and flat. And at this point, just going to slide that into place. That actually feels pretty good. I don't feel like that's going to bother me at all when I try to move around. And then taking the firearm here and setting it inside. That's actually pretty good. Doesn't feel like I would have anything to potentially grab at the trigger. So that's cool. And if I wanted the additional retention with that strap, no problem. So that sits down actually very firm and seems like it's going to ride kind of nice. I'm a little bit surprised at how much I think I might actually like this. In terms of my ability to conceal, I can cant my belt a little bit to the side just so that I don't, rub the muzzle up against my belt. That's going to help. And I can position this kind of any way that I feel fit, but keeping it right in front of me, sort of nice and tight and tidy there, that might work out very well. Now, this particular long sleeve, I do a lot of testing of my CCW setup for effectiveness because this is fairly slim line, and if I can get things to conceal with this, I know I'm good with anything else, and I wear this type of stuff a lot. Now, right away, you can see that's absolutely printing, sticking off the front of me because this is riding so high. Typically, with my CCW, I can kind of keep it low enough that as this falls off of my chest line, there's a little bit of a space where that sort of grip just nestles into my appendix area when I am carrying appendix and sort of melts away. But here you can see that is sticking out just a little bit. Now, with anything bulkier on top, I'm fairly certain I could get away with it. Or if I had a different sort of shape in terms of my grip, I could also possibly get away with it. But I have a big mag well flare here, which you can see that flare absolutely printing. I also have the optic, which you can see right here. That is absolutely printing, so that's going to stick out just a bit. But I do also have the ability to kind of play with the location and maybe just like rock it around a little bit and take advantage of the contour on front of me, which kind of cleans it up just a little bit and then gives me the ability to kind of use my arms. A lot of times if I'm in a tight area or I feel like it might be printing, I'll start to kind of fold my hands or, hold my arms and do all sorts of funny stuff that you have to do just to keep things sort of concealed. But this might be just a little bit better. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe just a little bit of an issue off to the side here, but that's also pretty cool. And then finally, you could certainly run this in a number of different clocked positions, whether or not you're going off of your back. Small of the back, I've personally never tried. I'd have to sort of flip that around, but certainly a bunch of different things you can do. So I will probably experiment with this just a bit. But I do have to say, in terms of the ride quality so far, I'm actually a little bit surprised at how firm and good this could feel. I could see being in the fall or winter months and not having this bother me at all. So far, a little bit of an experiment, but that's cool. Now, in terms of my ability to draw, I'm going to do it in sort of slow motion here, but draw, hand. I do need to get on that snap, which I can pop off, draw, and I'm out. Moving a little bit quicker this time. If I had that snap in place, which it might be nice if that was a high-powered neodymium magnet, but it's definitely not fast, but it's also not crazy slow, and especially if you're a little bit mitigative in your thought process. I'd say hopefully if you're in a scenario you can plan ahead, but who knows what's going to happen, right? That would take a little bit of practice to get that snap smooth. So from the draw, anything with a strap is going to be a hindrance. Not too bad. Getting there. It will definitely take some practice. In terms of my ability to sit down, you can see this actually works out extremely well. This is probably literally the best carry solution I've had for sitting yet, with exception of the chest rig. But I mean, that's fantastic, especially where I canted my belt It's not even clicking together. I got the belt and all the metal off to the side. I have the muzzle sitting down. It's about perfect. It's right there. That's nice. So that works out actually very well. My ability to sit and sit comfortably, that's great. Playing with things for just a second, if I had a flashlight, not that I would really want to bulk up here, but I guess I certainly could. Could get my flashlight in there. Pocket knife. Again, probably in practice, not something I would do, but you certainly can. There's a couple other ideas that I have. Like, for example, now I've installed a Neomag. If you haven't seen these, I do have a video on Neomag products. This is pretty cool. A little magnet that allows me to slide my magazine in there, and it will hold it firm and in place. So there's no way this is going to come out or slip out the bottom, and gives me the ability to have some extra capacity, which is cool. I could certainly do that on both sides. But this also having some additional pouches, so these pouches here can be used in a number of different ways. This is really intended to be a cell phone pouch, which I would never contemplate carrying my cell phone on this rig. But that's what this is for. Like I said, I probably would never do it, but just for the demonstration, this does allow for a very large cell phone to fit in here. If you had smaller items, there is an enclosure. But, you know, I don't know. Would I ever really do that? No real need. I guess if you wanted to completely hide all your stuff. So at this point, I mean, again, this isn't the best cover garment, but that's why I test using this, because at least it gives me a benchmark and something that I can go by with a very slimline garment. And it's really not that bad. I mean, I think if you were untrained eye, you would definitely miss this. Trained eyes are going to know. You know, I see people carrying all the time who probably don't know that I know, but I know. I don't know. I mean, that's not perfect. Cell phone's tight on my side. But, you know, it gets a little weird, a little wonky when you start adding some of these other things. And then the other pouch here, this is a dedicated magazine pouch. So this one you could certainly leverage. That's pretty simple. That has an enclosure over the top, which is a little bit tight here. Again, I'm leveraging my SIG P365 magazines, but you know, this is neoprene here. You have Velcro on this side, and there's like a big gap all the way to like over here. And that's because this is that zippered pocket for your cash or IDs. So this would work. And you do have the ability to get on there. If you had to do a magazine change, get on it there. That's actually not too bad. Seems like it would probably be quick enough. But again, from a practical standpoint, not too bad. Looks like that's hidden away okay. So all in all, the belly band, what do I think? I don't know. It's certainly an experiment. It's a different way to carry. I can tell you I will have to play with this for a while to figure out if I'm comfortable with it. And that's one of those things I will test around the house for a while and see who notices what's going on. And so all in all, what do you think about the belly band carry? I'm curious. I would like to hear from you. Have you ever carried a rig like this? Have you ever carried your CCW in a belly band? What works? What doesn't work? Is this practical? Is it not? Maybe this just is not the right size handgun. Maybe it's better off leveraging something like a revolver. I don't really know, but to me, again, this is just a brand new experiment, brand new to try it. The people at Warbull asking me for some feedback, I'd say so far, I mean, pretty cool. You know, I would personally say I could go without the accessory pouches, but I'm kind of glad that this comes with them because it gives me flexibility, versatility. Better to have it and to not need it than to need it and not have it. And I can use these in many other parts of my kit, in other bags and places where I might really truly want to use this. Magazine pouch I will probably keep on here. I think that's useful. Kind of nice that you have the ability to stash a little bit of cash in here and keep it protected. I think I would really love to keep this Neo mag in there. That's just awesome. So having the spare magazine, I actually would probably better orient it this way, I think, and leave it in a spot where I can get on that fairly quick. It's going to be a little bit slow, but better to have it and be a little slow than to not have it at all, and that's going to be nice and firm. And then the handgun. Well, I like that it has the trigger coverage. I like that this sits in here fairly well. It seems like it's going to be a very secure ride. I am absolutely not worried about this coming off, and it's actually one of the best secure rides I've had, just in terms of the fact that it is literally not moving around. Like, I feel like I could run in this and have no problem. I like that the inside is vented, and I'm curious about how hot this gets. So this for me will really be a fall experiment. At this point I'm in the spring going into the summer, and so this isn't really going to be a summer experiment, but I can tell you I will absolutely be playing with this into the fall. So all in all, again, pretty cool. Leave some comments below. Curious about your experience. To the people at Warbull, thank you very much for providing this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more of my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it, that's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.